And down, and down, down, down. Oh, wait. It's not that type of strip. It's a New York strip. Whew. This is about to get real awkward. Okay, so to go with the steak, I want fried mushrooms and sauteed onions. You put a little bit of those on side and eat those a little bit on the fork with the steak. Adds to flavor. So take an onion, cut off the ends, peel down the side. Once to get rid of the paper layer. Then you yeet all of this. Take your onion. We don't want the green part in the middle. This one's a little old, I guess. Wait a couple more weeks, it'd be a new onion. And then it's how big of slices do you want? You don't want them too thin because you don't want them to disintegrate. You actually want to taste the onion. So about a 1/2 inch. Take a small frying pan, add a little oil, turn on some heat. Wait till that gets hot. At the same time for the mushrooms, I'm going to do the same thing. A little oil. Whoop, it's a little much. That'll work though, it's a big pan. Heat. Luckily I already got pre-sliced mushrooms because they're the same price as as whole mushrooms. And as long as you eat them quickly, they're okay and you get more in the package. So that's a win-win. Take my chunks of onions, break them apart a bit. I don't want to separate every layer, but at least every couple of layers. You can tell by the oil, my pan's hot. That appears hot enough. You hear them lightly sizzling when they drop. And then we will turn that down to a medium-high heat. So that they keep sizzling, but don't actually just turn into fire and burn. And this is mushrooms. We add them. These will cook down quite a bit, and they'll be much smaller when they're done. And it takes a few minutes, about, I don't know, about 5 minutes or so, sauteing them. You'll see here and keep doing these. Your goal is when they turn somewhat translucent but are still crisp. That's when they're good. And same as the mushrooms. You see they start cooking, you just keep them moving. Some of these big mushrooms, I'm snapping them in half with the spatula the way I can. That way they're all about the same size. The onions are starting to turn golden. And they're starting to cook. They got that nice shine on all the pieces. It'd be fine to stop there if you wanted to. But in reality, most everyone likes them with a little bit of golden on them, so you cook them till they turn golden. If I wasn't filming this, I'd be cooking these while the steak was cooking. But since we want to show you all how it's done, so we'll do them one at a time. One big tray of mushrooms cooked down real quick, didn't it? Okay, now they're both almost done. I didn't cook them at the same time in the same pan, because if I did, the extra moisture from the onion would have made the mushrooms all mushy and icky, like they came out of a can. But since they are both going on the same steak as a topping, and they're nearly done, and the mushrooms are running out of moisture, now is when you take the onions, add them to the mushrooms, turn up the heat on the mushrooms, and finish it off in a single pan as a mixture. This will finish browning the onions. It'll add the moisture that the mushrooms need to finish cooking and marry the flavor between the two of them together. So when you have it on the New York strip on the steak, it'll enhance the flavor. It's little things like that that make a big difference. All right, these look done. So normally I would just scoop it right up, put some right on top of a steak, and be good to go. But since we gotta cook the steaks for the family first, I'm going to slip it all into a bowl and put it off into the microwave to keep warm. Not that I'm turning the microwave on, it's just that the microwave is a small enclosed box that actually keeps shit kind of warm, if you think about it. All right, now to start on the steaks. So the frying pan has been in the oven here, preheating. It's at 350 degrees. Because it's cast iron. Everyone always says, oh, cast iron is so great because it retains the heat. Yes, it does retain heat for quite a while. But what it does even more is it takes forever to heat up all the way through. Because the same principle of having iron with little bits of gaps of air around it and stuff that makes it retain the heat is why it also takes a while to heat up. So if you preheat it in your oven for a while, then when you put it on the stove, you have a much better thing. The only problem is, you have to remember, do not grab the handle, because it's really hot. You'll only forget that one time. At least only I did. One time. Now we add a little oil. Just so nothing sticks. And we throw on the steaks. We got 2 New York strips. One for me, one for the missus. And since the boy's still a child, he gets just chopstick. He'd have New York strip, but his teeth ain't there yet to eat solid real meat. And now you'd be tempted to turn it or do anything, you just let it set. It's on the thing, it sets for a few minutes, and you flip them hopefully one time. The hamburger doesn't matter quite as much, but still one flip is good. While these are cooking, let's talk about what to drink with them. I like a heavy burgundy, but I couldn't find any at the store. But I did find a good red wine, Casa Diablo. That seemed to fit around my house. So, the kid can't drink wine, of course, because he's a child, so we got him grape juice. It's like child wine. You turn the bottle into the key. You don't turn the key into a bottle. 1.5 times left. Fold it down. Pull up. Oh, look, it even says their name on the cork. You can smell the cork if you're an absolute idiot, because it will smell like wet wood. That's what they all smell like. Very full glass of wine. Don't worry, it'll be at the proper mark for dinner time. That'll be nice with the steak. Casa Diablo. Alright, let's see how steak's doing. Still not released. Oh, I hope I didn't fuck up and use this pan instead of my other pan. I had to turn it now, it's sticking to the pan a bit. Still working on the seasoning on this pan. It takes quite a while with them sometimes. Especially if someone leaves it in the oven when it's on auto clean and it strips everything off of it. But the best way to re-add seasoning is to cook meat in them. Cooking meat in the pan makes them build up seasoning. It just takes a year or two. And then they're as good as non-stick. Oh, don't worry. Sometime I will tell them the story of the self-cleaning oven fiasco. That'd make a good video. There's some really tender steaks. They're almost falling apart in the pan. Even the chopstick is really loose. Alright, let's see how the steaks are doing. See, when they're done, they release. Now that's how it's supposed to look when you turn it. I just had to turn the other one early because it was burning on the pan and sticking. But it'll be okay. I'm gonna check on chopstick. Which is very chopped. Wines. Here be the kids. That looks like a good glass for the child. He'll feel like he's drinking wine like his parents. Look at that. He even kind of looks like it. And then I'll give the wife the pink glass. And I got me a glass then. Yeah, that's just the type of day I've had. That's more of my size of glass. So beverages are ready for dinner. Something I like to do with my New York strips, you typically have the strip of fat along the back, hence the name. Fry it on that side. Now, how do you tell when your steak is done? You use the hand test. You grab your forefinger and thumb together and squeeze, and you take your other finger and you touch. That's rare. Medium rare. Medium, medium well. Then you touch your steak. And you see, oh yeah, that's about that one. How's that feel? That feels really mushy yet. And you just find to where it matches. Like, yeah, that feels about as hard as that. And that's how you can tell how done your steak is. Now the kid's chopstick is done, so I'm going to get that off the flame here. We covered some of the sides and some of the other dishes that you might want to serve with this. You can see that in the other videos. Like twice baked potatoes, asparagus with cheese, green beans, a small side salad. All of those are acceptable. Nice, good char. That's going to look good. That's going to taste extra good. This is the wife's. It is done how she likes them done, just very well. Not very well, because she's not, I wouldn't marry anyone that eats their steak very well. That is disgusting. But she likes hers medium well. I prefer medium to medium rare. That's what I'm sure mine's done too. Mine took a little longer because it's a bigger cut of meat. Slightly bigger, you never know what you're going to get from the cow. A little salt on top. A little pepper on top. Put the salt and pepper on after it's done, not beforehand. People who put salt on beforehand don't realize that just pulls the moisture out of the steak, and then the steak is dry. Pepper also burns in the frying pan. People don't realize that. They think that it's fireproof. It's not. Now you'd be tempted to cut right into the steak. That'd be a mistake. Because any cut of meat that's been cooked has to rest for 10 to 15 minutes. That means it has to sit right there on the plate, doing absolutely nothing but teasing me and making me more hungry as I'm looking at it. It is. What it does do though is it allows the moistures to re-even out of the steak, because right now we're at the ends, the sides where it's been cooked is drier, and the moisture will now reabsorb into all of it, and it'll taste better in 10 minutes. Trust me, the wait's worth it. And then you also, let me get my sides in too. Some of the mushrooms and onions, I'll put those right on top. I have some wine to pair it with. And it's been about 10 minutes. Rare to medium rare. God, that's tender. Like hamburger tender. Goes good with the wine from hell also. All right. Well, it's time for me to eat, and this has been Real Easy Cooking with Robert. I'm done.